Good morning, everyone. Well, me faffing around, sitting there going, are we live? Are we not? Here we go. This is what happens when we go live.
Yeah, the countdown clock didn't seem to be working. It seemed to be a bit delayed back, even though I had refreshed it. So yeah, so fancy that, the one at the end of the year we mess up on.
Well, hey ho. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to our last small business chat of 2020. Hello, Karen.
Hello, Chris.
We've got our cups. I've even got my Christmassy jumper on.
Oh, well done. I've got sort of colour. I was hoping to get a red backdrop, which Gail was going to provide for me, but I've never went round to her house to collect it, so unfortunately I haven't got the red backdrop today.
You're looking red and seasonal as it is, so that's good for you. That's awesome. So again, thank you so much. This has been a crazy year. In fact, I still laugh. You see that wall planner behind me? I still giggle whenever I see it, because I sit there and go, what was the point? And I also want to see the preview to 2021 right by my wall planner. No, we have had so much fun this year, and actually I think, considering everything in spite of everything going on, and for us, we look at Small Business Chat as something that's a bit more positive that's come out of 2020. And so we wouldn't want to talk about, my God, what a crazy year it has been, and start going into the negatives, but actually be a bit more uplifting, because it's Christmas and we need to be a little bit more festive. And for my point that we were discussing earlier, it's not magically, the issues that we've got don't magically disappear at the end of the year. I'm always like this every year with New Year's resolutions. The issues that you had before don't magically disappear, and it's still going to be a challenge for so many of us, and that for us, resilience needs a bit of a power boost. And the way that we boost our resilience, good sense of humor, I know, again, some great tips that we've learned over the year and over the years of running our own businesses, but a good sense of humor, trying to be optimistic and realistic, trying to plan ahead, and also, where possible, but also be flexible and adaptable. But really, I think for us, it's like showing that gratitude of what it is that we've seen, that we've really enjoyed. And Christmas is the time. We're going to take time out. This is our last show. We're going to take the 2 weeks off and really just decompress, plan ahead, try and be bigger, better, brighter for 2021. Especially with Small Business Chat. We've got some plans, haven't we, Karen?
We've got some plans.
And so really, we asked the question, what is it that you are most positive about? And so I'm going to ask you, actually, because we had so many responses. I sort of put the question out earlier, and so many wonderful, so much wonderful feedback. So Karen, I've got to ask you, what has been perhaps one of the best things that you could take away from 2020?
I think the thing is just being quite surprised that, despite sort of the initial lockdown and sort of a lot of fear around it, that actually people adapt so quickly and adjust and realize, well, it's just that they've just got to get on with things. And I found that people, although they sort of stopped with initial shock, they just thought, actually, now I've got the time to really work on these things and and make a go of it. Things that I've been putting off, I can now do, and it's actually kept me really busy throughout the entire period. So that was something to learn from. Another thing is just that, the community coming together and helping each other. That's been really positive for me to watch and see, how people are sort of supporting each other more, how people have come out and sort of offered help and support in different ways. And just the realization that everyone's in the same storm, but they're not on the same boat. That one's been passed around a lot, and it is true. And that I have been lucky through most of the lockdown period to be busy, but a lot of people haven't. But it's just watching some of those people, how they've changed, taken what they do and then just kind of been really innovative and coming out with something else, going off in a completely different direction. So I think that's been really one of my highlights, to see people being really innovative.
And do you know what? It's probably one of the industries that have taken a battering, the creative industry, the arts sector, and seeing how that's turned around. Again, it's something that we don't really talk about because we think of small businesses and what's in our own realm. But watching some of that video content, there was a poet that did 2020 hindsight, and it was a piece of content that he put out there. It's a wonderful poem, and it talks about how the world slows down. And it was content like that. And then there was another company, the social company actually, that did a brilliant newsreel sort of creative just about 2020 and what was going on and how to look at it a bit more positively. And actually, like you say, it's probably the things that, with everything going on in the day-to-day life, they probably wouldn't have had time to have created that content, and it was just such a wonderful, well, for them, viral piece of content. I just sat there and thought, to those that are still not able to find their place just yet, just create. I think that, what we've done, we've come up with some, weekly topics to try and bring people in and just showcase that, and just create. Like, we haven't even done it from a solid, even we haven't really marketed it the way that we should have done, but just putting it out there, just trying, just creating. And if we can do it and we see how wonderful other people are doing it, it's highlighting sort of talent, opportunities, and I'm sure, like, for both of them, they got so much out of it.
It's trying different things out like that, isn't it, that you're scared to do, but that might be out of your comfort zone. But just people, we knew as well, people are very, very busy on there and might not be seeing our earlier videos. So again, it's a great opportunity to just practice. Practice and do it, and keep spreading it. I think it's really important to, one of the other really important things I've noticed in this time is a lot of people have gone, it is very stressful. What can I do? And I'm not getting work in. So you get stuck in this whole kind of quagmire of things, and you've just got to keep moving. You know what I mean? You've got to just keep the wheels moving and just keep being visible, being out there, being seen. I think that's really important.
Are there any companies that have stood out for you? Maybe that you've worked with, that you've seen out?
Well, yeah, I mean, sort of through my other show that I've been doing on the Tuesdays, I've just been inviting lots of eco-minded guests on there, a lot of which we've had on here as well. And just, hearing their stories, hearing their business tips, hearing what they've been doing, how they've been changing and adapting, what things are working, what hasn't. So, there's been quite a few on there which have been, for example, like Helen Youngman, who was a travel advisor, and obviously the travel industry all stopped. She then pivoted and started Global Kitchen, sort of food delivery service.
I'm very jealous that I'm not nearby. I'm very jealous, Helen.
But I do have another friend in London who did the same thing, and she's doing deliveries, amazing food in North London. I mean, maybe again it's a little bit too far from you, but and another friend of mine as well who's done the same. So 3 people have actually changed to do that. Also the Triple Bottom Line Accounting, who I've been working with. I mean, they've just been busy as ever, but what they were doing right at the beginning was getting out lots of blogs and information and videos and everything, helping people. What does furlough mean? What money am I entitled to? Can I get a grant? So they were keeping people updated with all this kind of information, because it was a minefield, and it's when you're overwhelmed and you're stressed out and everything, it's even harder to try and understand what is actually, going on, what all that means, and what what's the word, sort of what you're allowed to claim, or what you can get from, what support you can get. And a couple of others, people like Natural Spa Supplies. She's been selling eco products online, and one of her things was she creates hemp oil soap, which is brilliant for, if you wash with that, it's got the properties to break down the protein and the virus and everything, and really good. And those started flying off the shelves. So her business has actually grown, and she's now got a warehouse and taken on a new person. So there's been a lot of stories like that, I think, with hand wash, isn't it? People kind of coming up.
if you think about some of the alcohol companies that just being the first one to announce it, it's like hand sanitizer, here we go. And then you've got the big brands like Louis Vuitton, the bigger brands that started.
I think it was, yeah.
It was. Tell me if I'm wrong, folks. But there's so many, and I think it's been quite uplifting and actually quite inspiring. But I agree with you, Karen. It's about the community. It's about, we're talking about it, we're sharing it. It might inspire you, it might help you. I am a huge believer, and this is before COVID, and a lot of the lessons that, if you've been in business for a longer time, we wouldn't have said we found it easy, but we found it easy to adapt and actually find the connections that we needed. Wouldn't you say, Karen, like between us?
Yeah, I think we've built that up over the years, and and also collaborations and associates around us, other business owners. So I can call you up and have a rant or get some advice or support, and likewise you can do it to me. And it's really important to have those other people around you who are either going through the same thing, have been through the same thing, or might not be going through the same thing, but just can help give you some ideas. Because if you're in that kind of stressed mind, you're not even going to be able to sort of think and come up with ideas sometimes, you know what I mean, or see through the wood through the trees. So I think that's really important to keep that. And I think one of the other things mentioning that actually is, we both started our business during the recession. Yeah, craziness, and it was a real struggle, but you're going to come out the other side. So I think that's one of the things you could take away from this. Yes, it's a struggle now, but if you just streamline everything, keep going, keep pushing, and you will come out the other side.
I think as well, the word that I heard, somebody had said it on a post, but it was like this fluidity of reinvention in sort of we have such a set mind as to what we want to achieve, and sadly there are some businesses that have to close, like they just have to fix the mortar, and you understand that, and it's not a failure, it's just not, it's tragic and it's sad, because of so much time has been spent on it. But if you built it up as a success, it's nothing to say that you can't do it again. And,
exactly.
and also you'd have learned so much. Again, you say that when we started, and people that have probably been in business for a lot longer, we're going to come across these barriers over and over again. And I think that goes back to the point about resilience, is that, you become a little bit more accepting as to, you sort of like lean into the problem more than trying to resist it. And as you go on and on and on, you sort of learn to lean into it faster, to deal with it, as opposed to resist it. And I think that to me is something that the more people that you have around you to help you not only lean into it, but also deal with it in different ways, I think it's really super, just absolutely brilliant to be able to do that. I think what you had said about local community, that's my big highlight. I was saying, somebody did ask me at the very beginning of this, what has been your sort of aha moment? And I've just said, being able to connect with people outside. And there's been a couple of posts, especially on LinkedIn. I've loved our chat on LinkedIn. Thanks everyone on that. But I think specifically when you have taken that break and you're not rushing, I'm not rushing to London 100 miles an hour. I'm taking slow walks. I'm seeing people, familiar faces, shop owners, local shop owners. I'm delighted to find that I don't really need to go any major towns to do my Christmas shopping. It was all in my little area. Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
And it just to connect with them a little bit easier. And I think it just makes that quality of life. And I think that is the key phase of whatever you're doing in business, but quality of life just really exponentially grows.
I think people have realized, that during time, what's really important to them, and it's also making sure that you are getting out and spending more time outside, that you're spending time with loved ones when you can, all those relationships become far more important than just chasing the dollar, or chasing the pound. And I've seen a lot of positive stories come out from kind of a sustainable and eco point of view now, where people are, at the beginning it was kind of, we're not even thinking about the environment anymore. That's kind of been put down to the bottom, but actually now it's starting to become more of a thing, and people are now starting to look at ways of incorporating better sustainable practices in their business.
Well, I think there was an article in the paper, The Guardian, that actually said that it's the worst plastic waste has happened, like sort of the effects of this year and the impact on plastic waste has just really grown, and especially in our oceans. So I think that with reports like that, it makes us think, doesn't it? Like, okay, there is an effect to whatever we do, cause and effect.
Yeah. And I think as well, I think, people are trying to, it's so much going on, and people had never come across anything like this before, that you're so focused on that, and that you don't have, and then trying to keep your business alive and everything, that you don't have the time to do all these other things. And there was so much positive things going on, and I was going, yes, and getting involved in so much. And then it got to the point I was just overwhelmed. I was involved in so many different things, and just had to kind of step back and, reassess everything, reevaluate everything, and go, yes, you can't just say yes to everything, no matter how much passionately you believe in those projects. You've got to at some point go, okay, I'll do this, but I can't do that.
And I think as well, you've touched upon it in terms of nature, and well-being has been a key one. I think this year has really tested our emotional health, our mental health, our physical health, as to where we're being restricted. So actually to go on from that point, I think that has been a key thing for a lot of people. That's a benefit. I've loved the fact that I'm seeing posts going, oh my God, I've just smashed my personal best at running. And especially at the beginning of the first lockdown, the amount of people, I'm quite jealous of this actually. But the first lockdown, I just remember people going, oh my God, I'm in the best shape I've ever been, because they're out running, doing their daily exercise. And I'm stuck chained to my desk.
I know how you feel.
A 10-minute walk, like what the hey. But it's really, I think anything that you can do, anything, and making that time out for you. Again, I ended up making sure now, I've always said it, you put the time in your diary, you schedule it. I have my alarm that goes off and goes, right, you should be switching off for at least lunch to get away from the computer, go away for a walk, something. I have to have these alarms in my phone for me to do so. But also boundaries. I think that was the other thing with the whole online offline world now, like colliding together, and how people are working. You also have to take the time out. We have clients that are always on demand. We have, our own work that needs, has its own deadline. And I think that there comes a point where we have to have stricter boundaries, because although we may be working from home more of you are, that's one of the key things that I learned, is that you have to have that time out. So again, that quality of life comes back in, that well-being factor, definitely a big plus for 2020. Hopefully we're learning it. If you haven't, I thoroughly recommend, if this is the way that this working life is going to evolve, make sure you switch off, make sure that you have the boundaries. It's not I must be online all the time to be seen. That is something that a lot of us online solopreneurs have learned long ago. I'm off.
Yeah.
I'm on holiday, but I'm off, so I'm going.
Yeah, take a break. Yeah, there's nothing wrong in taking a break, or scheduling stuff in advance, prepping ahead, don't spend too much time online. And I think a lot of people people were jumping on different networking things, and people were offering lots of free things, and people were jumping on and doing all of them, and then just going, oh, I can't cope. I've got to get away. And then, you sort of have the opposite, where you're just not then doing anything. So it's, really pick and choose, your niches and where you're going to spend your time online if you are going to be doing those things.
Yeah. And busy isn't a badge. That's the other thing I would say. This happened offline as well. Like, I'm so busy, I don't have time to do this. Well, actually, busy isn't a badge of honor. It's not a competition as who, I've been working since 7 until, even though I complain about that, but as in, even though that might be the case of, oh my God, I've got a call here, or I'm working international hours. But equally, I think be proud of, talk about, I've also switched off. I went off and I had that walk. I chatted. I took the afternoon off to go social distance walking with my friend. that is also the badge that we need to hear about more than just how busy you are, because it's not a healthy badge, is it?
No, definitely not.
So we'd love to hear from you. I mean, we've got so many lovely comments and people that have shifted their business that really stood out for me, that on some of the comments that we got when I was asking a question on LinkedIn. Also I would probably say the opportunities that came about. Definitely that's been sort of absolutely key to some of you. Taking the time to slow down has been a big one as well. I've noticed that coming through and through.
Yeah, slow down and patience as well, isn't it? Because you have to queue for very long times. So I think patience has been a good one.
Especially if you're in Primani, for some reason Primark's queues. I don't understand this in the news. I just don't.
I just wouldn't do that. I'm not that patient, and I'm not. Well, I don't go to Primark anyway. But yeah, that's they were crazy.
Stores, that seems to be the one where everyone seems to want to queue the most. That's where I'm seeing it on the reports. I don't know about you, but yeah, it does make me laugh in that respect. But we'd love to hear a little bit more about sort of what you're coming through. Oh crikey, yeah, absolutely. I think that Alessandro, you're so right. Human resilience is amazing. And actually, Alessandro, thank you. You have given me every morning a little lovely pause to breathe, like through his videos, his Qigong expertise, and his just absolutely wonderful calming approach to better health. I have to say thank you for you. You've been one of my highlights in the mornings. And Greg, Greg Evans, Papa Gruber, says Merry Christmas to us as well. So yes, and again, another somebody that I absolutely I do adore you, even though I don't see you very often. But I just kind of like look at the travel industry, and again, seeing how they're coming together, trying to be optimistic, flexible, looking at how to move forward. Again, that is an industry that has my heart always. We both work in it, don't we? So we see it. We see you guys, and if there's anything we can do to help. But yeah, absolutely. I think from that point of view, we're here, I think 2021, like we said, what could we be doing? What could we be doing that's bigger, better, bolder, brighter, for our communities, for our industries, for our teams. Don't forget our teams, our family. I think that's the other thing, is that we don't take that for granted. We're in our little bubbles, and sometimes it's been a big enough effort just to look inside our own bubbles, hasn't it? And I think that has been one of the key highlights for me, is that 2020 was the year that I was going to sort it all out. Like I had all these content ideas, I was going to start writing, and it had to sort of switch
be put on hold for a while.
But that's absolutely fine, because for me, I think the other key thing for me is that it's all very well being external, and I don't know if this is just my PR head, but it's all very well thinking externally all the time. If we just think externally and look what goes out there, but what goes on with us, for me, it was really key that my friends, my colleagues, people that I had met, that I really appreciated, if I wasn't there to support them during this time, then actually I'm trying to attract some stranger for new business. And it's like, I can do what I do, but actually for me it was quite key for 2020. That's one of my key highlights. And I've learned so much from you all, actually, having that we've had on, Catherine with business plan. There's too many to mention. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, we've had some great. Yeah, we have sort of video, photography, branding,
visibility, speaking,
tools, productivity tools. I think that's a really good one as well for if you find yourself too busy and not enough time. So there's some great ones to go back on and learn some good stuff.
And I promise you, it's always been on our plan, but we're going to be sharing that wider, because the good thing is that this is all evergreen content, the productivity hacks, the planning hacks, all of these things we're going to need going forward. So if anything, we've already got our content for 2021.
We'll just show them all again. We'll pretend we're live and we'll just play them again for those who haven't seen.
Yeah, having a cup of tea and a biscuit. We've got loads more planned for you, and we also want to hear from you. That's the other thing. So we are working on ways to really tighten the belt up here, tighten that wheel to make it even better and easier for you to enjoy the show, to take part in the show, to comment on the show, and to get the value from the show that we originally had planned. So yeah.
Well, I think what might be a good idea is put up a list of what we've done, just the titles, and then if anyone's got any ideas of things kind of we've missed out that they go, oh, actually I'd really like to know more about this or that, you know, if you haven't covered it, then we'd love to hear from anyone, you know, that we can then just put into our 2021 show.
Fantastic. I think that's it from us. Thank you, Alessandra. Thanks for your brilliant content. You will never run out, I'm sure. We have all of you guys. You are our inspiration. It's about small businesses. It's about breaking down those barriers, providing a friendly, open space to deal with the issues that you're dealing with, helping you, guiding you, supporting you. So actually, whatever you guys need, yeah, absolutely, that is so true.
Yeah. And we can learn from all of them as well. You know, we're always learning, constantly learning, adapting, and everything as well. So yeah, if you've got any tips.
Absolutely. So we're going to be taking, crikey, is it 2 weeks? Oh my God, 2 weeks off. We didn't do too badly. 37 weeks, 36 shows. And even then, I could not have broadcasted live from an operating theatre. So I think we're allowed that one show off. I think that's allowed.
Definitely.
So I would say that we'll be back on the 6th of January.
Wednesday, 6th of January, yeah.
Check us still out for updates. Even though we're not going live, I'm still going to be posting a few bits and pieces. So we will definitely be in touch. But we want to wish you, like, first of all, we are applauding you for 2020. Your gains, your wins, your positive outlook, your lessons, whatever you've learned. We are applauding you. Well done. We are proud of you. Absolutely. Yeah. And then we're going to wish you the most restful, peaceful Christmas.
Yeah, hopefully with family and loved ones too.
Yeah, no matter how much you want to spend it. I chuckle because sometimes you might want to spend it by yourself, just for that peace and quiet.
Whatever it is, just take the time to stop and pause and relax, definitely. Yeah.
Absolutely. Whatever it may be, yeah, hopefully it is with around people that, you know, loved ones, like you say. And we will see you for the new year. And yeah, absolutely. Wishing you all the very best. Take care.
Wishing you the best. Happy New Year. See you next year.